U.S. President Donald Trump has said that he would like to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at the demilitarized zone on the border of North and South Korea. Trump is due to arrive in South Korea on Saturday. U.S. Special Envoy Stephen Biegun has also said that the U.S. is ready to hold constructive talks with North Korea to follow through on a denuclearization agreement. Kim and Trump's talks have been boosted by the recent exchange of letters. UK PM probable Boris Johnson has supported US President Donald Trump in his approach towards Iran. Speaking at a Conservative Party meeting, Johnson said that Trump is right on the need to constrain Iran in the Gulf region. He affirmed that they need to be very, very vigilant about Iran. Johnson accused the Iran government of causing all sorts of mischief in the region. He said that UK should work with America and other European nations in efforts to constrain Iran. The U.S. administration on Friday levied sanctions on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's son, Nicolas Maduro. This allows the U.S. Treasury Department to freeze any U.S. assets belonging to Maduro Jr. and prohibits American institutions from engaging in business activities with him. The new sanctions are the latest in efforts to oust Maduro from the president's post. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said that Maduro relied heavily on his son to maintain a stronghold on the economy and suppress the people of Venezuela. A new migration detention center is set to open in Arizona. The construction of the 500-person tent facility near the Mexico border began 2 weeks ago. The acting secretary of U.S. Homeland Security said that he expected 25% fewer migrants to cross the border this month. According to U.S. Customs and Border Patrol officials, the facility will have the tents, medical and hygiene facilities, as well as mats to sleep on. China has confirmed that it will continue to import Iranian oil even after U.S. has imposed sanctions on the country. Chinese Foreign Ministry has said, and I quote here, "We reject the unilateral imposition of sanctions." This comes just before the much-anticipated meet. The Chinese president and the U.S. president are going to hold a bilateral meet at the G20 summit. Chinese military will be automatically gaining control of Hong Kong's Victoria Harbour on Saturday. This would be under a 1994 British and Chinese agreement. A handover comes after, despite anti-China protest in the semi-autonomous region for almost a month now. A debate on the controversial transfer had been blocked by the pro-Beijing wing on Wednesday. This squashed the last attempt by pro-democracy camp to stop the transfer. Protests have been on in Hong Kong over the extradition bill, which allowed for criminals to be sent to mainland China for trial. Hundreds had gathered at Istanbul's main court to support an opposition politician who has been sentenced to prison for 17 years. The opposition politician who heads the secular Republican Party in Istanbul has been charged of series of tweets criticizing the government. She's accused of insulting President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and the Turkish state in tweets posted between 2012 and 2017. There was little progress in the trial itself. A case has been adjourned until July 18th. Albania will be holding its municipal elections on Sunday, an election that is widely being seen as a test of the country's democracy. Prime Minister Edi Rama addressed a rally ahead of the closing of campaigning. He slammed the opposition parties for advocating against Albania's entry into European Union. The opposition is planning to boycott Sunday's elections, while the government is planning to go ahead with it. Two migrants were evacuated from a German rescue ship stranded in Italian territorial waters due to medical reasons. Remaining 40 migrants on the boat have been sleeping in makeshift beds, and the situation on the ship is desperate. The ship entered Italy's waters, defying a ban by Italy. After wandering for 14 days in international waters, A ship has been denied permission to disembark migrants by the Italian authorities. Meanwhile, European Union has urged Italy to bring the migrants to land. The Dutch flag Sea-Watch vessel has docked at the Italian port of Lampedusa. The ship is operated by German charity organization Sea-Watch and is carrying dozens of stranded people. Italy had earlier refused permission for the vessel to enter its waters. The captain of the ship had, however, warned of the situation becoming tense as they had been at sea for over 2 weeks. The ship has no, defined Italian orders and docked at the port. A single-engine plane crashed into a home in North Carolina, killing the pilot and a house resident. Another person was seriously injured. The identities of the victims have not been revealed yet. The crash site is in a densely populated commercial residential site. Federal investigations from the National Transportation Safety Board and Federal Aviation Administration are carrying out further investigations. The 2-year inquiry into the dastardly London Bridge killing has revealed shortfalls on the part of the British government. England's chief has said that the lack of barriers on the bridge led to the killing of the civilians 2 years ago. A London Bridge attack involved extremists who rammed a hired van into the sidewalk full of pedestrians and later attacked them with knives. A similar attack also happened in Westminster 3 months prior to the incident. Still, no action was taken. The 50th anniversary of the Stonewall uprising was celebrated in New York with much pomp and excitement. More than 1,000 people gathered in parks and other public places to celebrate the Pride movement in America. The gatherings were also seen as a protest against the Trump administration, which has been accused of reversing the progress made in the last century. A further 4 million people are expected to descend on New York over the course of this weekend.
Thank you. Hi, Mike.
Residents of Berlin took to the streets on Friday to protest against climate change. The protests were organized by Fridays for Future movement. The protests were carried out in a peaceful manner. Protesters marched to the German parliament building and formed a human change around it. They held placards reading 2038 is too late, referencing Germany's planned phase out of, coal as a source of energy by 2038. Demonstrations came just a week after more than 40,000 students from across Europe gathered in Germany, calling for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Hundreds of firefighters tackled a large wildfire in Spain's northeast as extreme weather conditions continue across Europe. At least 6,000 hectares of land has been burned from the blaze, which started when a pile of chicken dung combusted at the Ribera on Wednesday. Catalonia Fire Chief David Borrell said more hot and dry conditions are expected in the area on Saturday, but added that firefighters had gained control of 80% of the fire. At least 2 people have died in floods in Russia's Irkutsk region. A state of emergency had been announced on June 27th as heavy rains continued in the region. As per relief authorities, 6,000 residents have been affected as 2,300 houses were evacuated. 13 bridges and a large part of the region's main highway has also been flooded. Monsoons in India's financial capital, Mumbai, have claimed their first few victims. At least 3 people have died of electrocution in separate incidents. 5 people have also been injured. Mumbai is facing its annual agony. Heavy rains lashed the city, leading to waterlogging and traffic jams. Local trains and flight operations were affected as visibility dropped to 1,500 meters. The rains once again exposed the Mumbai Municipal Corporation's failure to deal with Mumbai's monsoon misery year after year. Europe is sweating it out as record-breaking temperatures hit several countries. France has recorded its hottest ever temperatures at 45 degrees Celsius. This breaks the country's 2003 record of 44.1 degrees Celsius. Spain continues to battle its worst wildfires in 20 years, and Germany has recorded some of its hottest ever June temperatures. French towns have shut schools and parents have been instructed to keep children indoors. Other European countries are also facing extreme temperatures. Germany, France, Poland and the Czech Republic have all recorded their highest ever June temperatures. A report by the World Met Organization on Friday said that the warmer global temperatures in the first half of 2019 have so far made it the third hottest year on record. Years between 2015 and 2019 have been projected to be the hottest ever. US Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that heat waves reaching Europe are proof that climate change is striking and is a serious public health threat. A NASA intern has claimed to have the only surviving footage of man's first steps on the moon. Gary George, a college student, then bought 1,100 reels for $218 at a government surplus in 1976. Among the tapes, 3 of the tapes turned out to be from the 1969 moon landing of the Apollo 11 mission. The tapes capture astronaut Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon and his famous words, quote-unquote, that one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The tapes are expected to sell for at least $2 million at the New York auction block on July 20th. It looks like vintage is the mantra for NASA, America's space agency. NASA has recreated its mission control room from the days of the Apollo mission. The control room is an exact replica of the one they used in the 1990s. The control room at Johnson Space Center in Houston was last used for space shuttle flights in the 1990s. Every single detail from carpeting, wallpaper, glass ashtrays and retro coffee cups have been recreated. Celebrations were held in Versailles to commemorate the centennial anniversary of the Treaty of Versailles. The treaty was the first of the Paris treaties and officially ended the war between the Allied nations and Germany. Presenting sponsor, the Pritzker Military Museum and Library, along with National World War II Museum and Memorial, supported the activities hosted by the legendary Palace of Versailles. The Versailles Award for American Philanthropy was given to David Rockefeller Jr. in recognition of the efforts made by his grandfather, John D. Rockefeller Jr. in rebuilding France after the First World War. Fidel Castro brought more than just communism to the shores of Cuba. An ice cream shop which was established by Castro was being reopened in Cuba, with summer becoming unbearable this year throughout the world. The shop has opened at an opportune time. The shop offers 9 basic flavors, all of which are made in the backroom productions facility, along with staples like chocolate and vanilla. A parlor offers flavors made from indigenous Cuban fruits and pineapples, watermelon and strawberries, all mixed from ingredients produced in local agricultural cooperatives. Public in Brazil will soon be able to get a glimpse of 2 jaguar cubs born in a wildlife reserve. Vets and wildlife reserve officials presented the healthy brother and sister cubs to media recently. Officials said the female cub has a black fur like her mother, whereas the male takes after the father, who is spotted. Brazil is home to as much as 20% of the world's biological diversity. But in recent years, encroachment by humans has had a dramatic impact on the country's natural fauna.